After a meal, many of us feel a sense of comfort as if we have given our body the nourishment it was longing for. Yet what follows in the minutes after eating is often where hidden dangers reside. For seniors, especially those past the age of 65, these moments can quietly shape health for years to come. It is not always the large decisions that matter most, but the smallest habits we repeat without thinking. I have spoken to many people who believe that once the plate was empty, their responsibility to the body was complete. They thought illness came only from poor food choices or lack of exercise. But the truth is gentler and at the same time more demanding. The way we live immediately after eating may either support our well-being or slowly harm it. Think of the body after a meal as a river in motion. Digestion requires balance, calm, and energy directed inward. When we disturb this natural rhythm with careless actions, we invite trouble to settle where peace should be. For seniors whose hearts, lungs, and digestion already work more slowly, the cost of these mistakes becomes even heavier. That is why I invite you to join me today as we reflect on 7 common habits many people practice after eating. They appear harmless, even comforting, yet each carries risks that science has confirmed, risks that can increase the chance of heart disease, stroke, cancer, or chronic digestive problems. This video is not meant to frighten you. It is meant to awaken a gentle awareness to help you notice the small things that matter most. Together, we will explore these 7 habits and learn how to replace them with choices that bring clarity, ease, and long-lasting health. The first habit I wish to share with you is smoking a cigarette right after a meal. For many, this has become almost ritual. They say it relaxes the nerves, that it feels like a natural conclusion to eating. Yet science tells us another story, one far more serious. When we finish a meal, the body enters a vulnerable state. Blood vessels dilate, digestion demands greater circulation, and the body opens wide to absorb nutrients. It is precisely in this moment that inhaled toxins are absorbed more deeply. Research published in the Journal of Clinical Investigation has shown that smoking immediately after eating increases nicotine absorption and raises carbon monoxide levels in the blood at a faster rate than smoking at other times. Another clinical study found that 1 cigarette smoked after a meal can equal the harmful impact of 10 cigarettes smoked on an empty stomach. For seniors, this is not an abstract danger. With age, the lungs lose elasticity, the arteries stiffen, and the heart must already work harder to maintain circulation. Introducing concentrated smoke during this fragile state multiplies the burden. The risks are clear: higher chances of lung cancer, coronary heart disease, and sudden stroke. The body, already slowed by time, is forced into a battle it cannot easily win. But fear is not the lesson here. The lesson is awareness. The body is like a wise elder who asks quietly for patience. After a meal, it whispers, "Let me digest, let me restore." To place smoke into this moment is to ignore its voice. If you carry this habit, know that change can begin gently. After eating, breathe deeply in fresh air, sip warm water, or take a short walk. Replace smoke with stillness, and you will feel your body respond with gratitude and strength. The second habit that quietly harms many seniors is lying down to sleep right after eating. It feels so natural. After a satisfying meal, especially dinner, the eyelids grow heavy, the body seems to ask for rest. Yet this act of surrendering to sleep too quickly often turns into a hidden invitation for illness. When you lie flat, the food and stomach acids do not remain where they belong. Gravity, which normally helps digestion, is lost. Medical studies in the American Journal of Gastroenterology reveal that people who lie down within an hour after eating are significantly more likely to suffer from acid reflux. Over time, this condition erodes the esophagus, increasing the risk of chronic inflammation and even cancer. For seniors, there is more. Acid reflux during the night does not merely cause discomfort. It is strongly associated with episodes of sleep apnea. Clinical research has shown that untreated reflux doubles the risk of interrupted breathing during sleep. For a heart that is already fragile, these interruptions place enormous strain, raising the likelihood of nocturnal heart attacks and strokes. In fact, cardiology studies indicate that a large portion of nighttime cardiac events occur in people who habitually lie down soon after meals. Beyond the science, there is the lived reality. Many older adults wake with a sour taste in the mouth, a dry throat, or a racing heart. These are not random misfortunes. They are the body's signals quietly warning that something is out of balance. The body is not punishing you, it is asking you to change. The good news is that even a small shift brings relief. If you feel sleepy after eating, choose to remain seated, read a gentle book, or take a slow walk for 10 minutes. Allow at least 2 to 3 hours before lying down. In doing so, you give your body time to digest in peace, your heart time to rest, and your lungs the freedom to breathe deeply through the night. To respect the body's rhythm is to honor life itself. Sleep is a gift, but only when it arrives at the right time, after the body has done its quiet work of turning food into strength. The third habit that many overlook is engaging in vigorous exercise immediately after a meal. For those who value health, exercise is seen as the ultimate medicine. It strengthens the heart, maintains muscle, and clears the mind. Yet timing matters as much as the practice itself. When the body has just received food, to force it into strenuous activity is to work against its natural design. After eating, blood flow shifts toward the digestive tract, where it is needed to break down nutrients and carry them throughout the body. If in this delicate window we run, lift weights, or push ourselves into heavy activity, the blood supply is pulled away from digestion and directed to the muscles. Studies published in Digestive Diseases and Sciences confirm that this redirection not only slows digestion, but can also cause nausea, cramps, and lightheadedness. For older adults whose circulatory systems are less adaptable, the strain can be far more dangerous. Cardiology research has shown that post-meal exercise places additional load on the heart. The increased demand for blood flow to the muscles coincides with the increased demand from the digestive system. This double stress has been linked to higher incidences of arrhythmias and even cardiac events in seniors. One large-scale European study found that individuals over 65 who exercised intensely within an hour of eating had a significantly elevated risk of fainting episodes and sudden cardiovascular collapse compared to those who waited longer. The problem is not exercise itself, but the clash of timing. The body cannot serve two masters at once: digestion and intense exertion. When forced to choose, it sacrifices digestion, leaving food partially processed, leading to bloating, discomfort, and in the long term, impaired nutrient absorption. For seniors, this can accelerate weakness, fatigue, and the decline of muscle mass. But the answer is not to abandon movement after meals. Gentle activity can in fact aid the body. A slow walk in the garden, a few minutes of mindful stretching, or simple breathing exercises help stimulate circulation without robbing the digestive system of its needs. Research in diabetes care has shown that light walking after a meal reduces blood sugar spikes, offering both safety and support for long-term health. The key is awareness. To honor digestion means to choose patience. Allow at least 90 minutes, sometimes even 2 hours, before attempting vigorous training. During that time, treat your body with kindness. Sit, breathe, reflect, or take a slow stroll. Then, when the stomach is light again, exercise will feel easier, the heart steadier, and the benefits far greater. In the practice of living, wisdom lies not only in what we do, but when we do it. To resist the urge to exercise too soon after eating is to align yourself with the body's rhythm. It is a quiet act of respect, one that protects health and prolongs vitality. The fourth habit that quietly harms health is the custom of drinking tea or coffee immediately after finishing a meal. In many cultures, this practice feels almost ceremonial. A cup of tea at the table or coffee served right after dinner is seen as a sign of hospitality and relaxation. Yet for the body, especially the aging body, this timing is far from kind. Inside both tea and coffee are compounds called tannins and polyphenols. While these substances can offer benefits in moderation, they also bind to minerals such as iron and zinc, reducing the body's ability to absorb them. Research published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that drinking tea with meals decreased iron absorption by up to 60%. Coffee produced a similar effect. For younger individuals with strong reserves, this loss may not be noticeable. But for seniors already vulnerable to anemia, the consequences are profound. Chronic fatigue, weakness, and diminished cognitive clarity often trace back not to a lack of food, but to the body's inability to fully utilize the nutrients consumed. Caffeine itself presents another challenge. Clinical studies in hypertension reveal that caffeine intake directly after eating raises blood pressure more sharply than when consumed at other times. For a senior with already strained arteries, this spike can burden the heart, increasing the risk of arrhythmias or vascular complications. The stomach too reacts. Coffee, in particular, stimulates acid production, heightening the chance of reflux when the stomach is already full. Beyond the science lies the subtle truth of how the body experiences these drinks. After a meal, digestion is like a fire that needs steady warmth to burn efficiently. Introducing strong tea or coffee at this moment is like throwing water onto the flame. It interrupts the flow, leaving the body struggling to maintain balance. Over months and years, this disruption contributes to the erosion of energy, digestion, and heart health. Yet the answer is not to banish tea or coffee entirely. Both can be companions when treated with respect. The key is timing. Allow your body at least an hour, preferably 2, after eating before enjoying a cup. By then, digestion has progressed, absorption is less disrupted, and the stimulating effect of caffeine can uplift rather than harm. Research in diabetes, obesity, and metabolism even suggests that coffee consumed between meals may support metabolism and reduce insulin resistance. The same substance harmful at one time can be helpful at another. This is the lesson of patience. In a world that urges us to consume without pause, wisdom lies in waiting. To separate the act of eating from the act of drinking tea or coffee is to give both experiences the space they deserve. Meals become nourishment, tea and coffee become rituals of clarity. For seniors, this shift can mean more than comfort. It can mean energy that lasts through the day, steadier blood pressure, and a heart that is less burdened. To pause is to heal, and in that pause, life feels richer, calmer, and more whole. The fifth habit that often seems harmless, even refreshing, is drinking large amounts of cold water right after a meal. On a hot day, the body craves coolness, and many seniors find comfort in a chilled glass of water at the table. The sensation is immediate, sharp, and pleasant. Yet beneath that momentary relief lies a disruption to one of the most delicate processes the body performs: digestion. Digestion depends on temperature, enzymes, and circulation working together in harmony. The stomach operates most effectively in a warm environment where digestive enzymes break down food into usable energy. When large amounts of cold water suddenly enter, the temperature of the stomach drops, slowing enzymatic activity. Studies in physiology and behavior have shown that drinking cold beverages with meals delays gastric emptying and alters the breakdown of fats. Instead of being smoothly processed, fats harden and solidify, making them more difficult for the digestive system to handle. The effects reach further. For seniors, the liver and gallbladder often already function with reduced efficiency. Cold water immediately after eating places an extra burden on these organs. A paper in the World Journal of Gastroenterology notes that chilling the digestive tract can interfere with bile secretion, which is essential for fat digestion. Over time, this increases the risk of gallstones and liver strain, conditions that often appear silently until they become painful and serious. Circulation is also disturbed. The body must redirect energy to warm the cold liquid, which diverts blood flow from the stomach and intestines. This competition for resources leaves digestion sluggish. Older adults may notice bloating, heaviness, or irregular bowel movements. What feels like a small choice, ice water at dinner, can lead to chronic discomfort that erodes daily quality of life. Beyond physical consequences, there is a subtle energetic imbalance. Traditional practices in both Chinese and Ayurvedic medicine have long cautioned against cold drinks with meals, teaching that they extinguish the body's digestive fire. Modern science is now confirming that this wisdom was not metaphor, but observation of how temperature alters physiology. The harmony between food and body is disrupted when extremes are introduced. Yet the lesson here is not to create fear, but to open awareness. The body does not ask for icy shocks. It asks for gentle support. Warm or room temperature water aligns with the body's natural processes. Research in appetite has even found that sipping warm water during meals improves swallowing, enhances comfort, and aids in satiety, helping people eat more mindfully. For seniors, this change can be transformative. Instead of feeling weighed down after meals, digestion becomes smoother, the heart less strained, and energy more stable. Small discomforts, indigestion, gas, fatigue begin to fade. This is not because of medicine or intervention, but because of listening. Imagine the body as a quiet companion at the table. It has worked tirelessly for decades, processing every bite, carrying every burden. When given warmth instead of cold shock, it sighs with relief, whispering thank you in the language of steady breath and calm heartbeats. So the choice is simple. Keep your water, but change its temperature. Drink in moderation, sip slowly, and if possible, let it be warm. Allow the digestive fire to burn steadily without interruption. What you will gain is more than comfort. It is the restoration of balance. The message is clear. Healing does not always require grand effort. Sometimes it begins with the smallest shift, like choosing warmth over cold. In those moments, health is not something distant to chase, but something quietly preserved with every sip. The sixth habit that often feels healthy yet quietly undermines well-being is eating sweet fruits immediately after a main meal. Across many households, fruit is seen as the perfect dessert, natural, colorful, and light. Seniors in particular may choose it believing it is far safer than pastries or ice cream. But timing transforms fruit from medicine into discomfort and over years even into disease. Digestion is a carefully orchestrated process. When a full meal has been eaten, especially one rich in protein, fats, or complex carbohydrates, the stomach works in stages, breaking food down slowly. Fruits, however, are digested much more quickly. When they are eaten on top of a heavy meal, they cannot pass smoothly through the stomach. Instead, they sit above partially digested food where their natural sugars ferment. This fermentation produces excess gas, bloating, and discomfort. Clinical studies in digestive diseases and sciences confirm that mixing fast-digesting fruits with slower, heavier foods prolongs gastric emptying and leads to higher rates of indigestion. The consequences extend beyond discomfort. Repeated fermentation irritates the lining of the gut, encouraging bacterial imbalance. Research from the Journal of Nutrition has linked post-meal fruit consumption with higher levels of gastrointestinal fermentation markers, which over time contribute to chronic conditions such as irritable bowel syndrome. For seniors who often already struggle with sensitive digestion, the body becomes more vulnerable to cramps, acid reflux, and fluctuating bowel habits. There is also an impact on metabolism. Fructose, the natural sugar in fruit, is absorbed differently than glucose. When consumed alone, the body can process it efficiently. But when large amounts of fructose are introduced on top of a meal already rich in fats, studies in metabolism, clinical and experimental, show that triglyceride levels in the blood rise significantly. Elevated triglycerides are a known risk factor for cardiovascular disease, a silent danger particularly relevant to older adults. What makes this habit deceptive is its good intention. Fruit is indeed a source of vitamins, antioxidants, and fiber. The problem is not fruit itself, but its placement in time. When eaten separately between meals, fruit becomes the gift it was meant to be, providing hydration, micronutrients, and gentle energy without interference. Clinical trials in public health nutrition found that individuals who consumed fruit as a mid-morning or afternoon snack had better nutrient absorption and fewer digestive complaints than those who ate fruit as dessert. The shift required is not complicated. Instead of placing fruit immediately after lunch or dinner, treat it as a standalone meal, perhaps 2 hours later. Seniors often find that this small change reduces bloating, sharpens appetite for the next meal, and even stabilizes blood sugar levels throughout the day. Over time, the difference accumulates into improved vitality, fewer digestive problems, and a lighter, steadier feeling after meals. The deeper lesson is patience. To eat fruit at the wrong time is to rush, to take what is good and misuse it. To wait is to honor both the food and the body. The sweetness of fruit becomes more enjoyable when it does not clash with the heaviness of a full stomach. Imagine offering fruit to your body like a gentle gift, not piled on top of burden, but placed in open hands when it is ready to receive. The body, relieved of fermentation and struggle, responds with clarity, with comfort, and with gratitude. Health is not found only in what we eat, but in how and when we eat it. For seniors, the wisdom is simple. Let fruit stand alone and let your body enjoy its blessings in peace. The seventh habit that may feel soothing but can be deeply harmful is taking a hot bath immediately after eating. For many seniors, the idea of stepping into warm water after dinner feels like a blessing. The muscles relax, the mind quiets, and the day's burdens seem to dissolve in the steam. Yet the body, busy with digestion, interprets this ritual differently. Digestion is a process that requires blood. After a meal, circulation is directed toward the stomach and intestines so that food can be broken down and nutrients carried into the bloodstream. When the body is immersed in hot water, blood vessels in the skin expand. This vasodilation pulls blood away from the digestive tract and toward the surface of the body in an effort to cool itself. Clinical studies in the Journal of Applied Physiology have demonstrated that immersion in hot water significantly increases skin blood flow while reducing blood flow to the abdominal organs. For seniors whose circulation is already less adaptable, this redistribution of blood creates strain and slows the digestive process. The consequences can manifest as heaviness, nausea, or abdominal discomfort. Over time, repeatedly interrupting digestion in this way contributes to poor nutrient absorption, leading to weakness and fatigue. The heart too bears the load. With blood pulled outward and vessels widened, the heart must pump harder to maintain adequate pressure. Research in circulation notes that hot baths can trigger drops in blood pressure, followed by compensatory spikes in heart rate. For a younger person, this may be tolerated, but for someone with a history of hypertension or heart disease, the result can be dangerous, sometimes leading to fainting, dizziness, or even cardiac events. Another overlooked danger is thermal stress. Seniors often have reduced thermoregulatory capacity, meaning the body struggles to manage sudden shifts in temperature. Entering very hot water after a meal forces the body to juggle two demanding tasks: digestion and temperature control. A study in Age and Aging found that older adults are more likely to experience cardiovascular instability when exposed to high heat immediately after eating. What feels relaxing may, in fact, be placing silent stress on both the heart and the digestive organs. This does not mean that warm bathing should be avoided altogether. In truth, warm water therapy has many benefits: easing joint pain, improving circulation, and calming the nervous system. But the key is timing. Allow at least 1 to 2 hours after a meal before immersing in hot water. By then, digestion has advanced, circulation is steadier, and the body can embrace the warmth as a true form of healing. During the waiting time, there are gentler ways to relax. A short walk outdoors, quiet breathing exercises, or resting in a comfortable chair can offer calm without interfering with digestion. Later, when the body is ready, the bath becomes more than indulgence. It becomes medicine. The deeper lesson is harmony. Digestion is not separate from the rest of life. It is life. To disrupt it carelessly is to pull at the threads that hold well-being together. To support it is to weave health into the fabric of each day. For seniors, this awareness is a gift. By waiting before stepping into hot water, you grant your body the chance to finish its quiet work. In return, you gain not only safer digestion and steadier circulation, but also the peace of knowing you are treating yourself with patience and wisdom. Health is not found in extremes of indulgence or denial. It is discovered in timing, in balance, and in the gentle respect we show our bodies in every choice. Even something as simple as delaying a bath after a meal can protect the heart, strengthen digestion, and extend the years of vitality still waiting to be lived. We have traveled together through 7 simple habits that appear harmless, but quietly erode health when practiced after meals. Smoking, lying down too soon, exercising too hard, drinking tea or coffee, consuming cold water, eating fruit at the wrong time, and stepping into hot baths. All of these may seem like small acts of comfort, yet each one, in its own way, interrupts the delicate harmony of digestion and places silent strain on the heart, the vessels, and the breath of life itself. But this journey is not meant to weigh you down with fear. It is meant to awaken your awareness. In every stage of life, but especially after 65, health is not only about great decisions or medical interventions. It is built in the small, repeated moments of daily living, the quiet rituals, the unnoticed gestures, the things we do without thought. When we bring thought back into them, when we pause to ask, is this kind to my body? That is where transformation begins. I want you to remember this truth. Your body has carried you faithfully through every decade, through every trial and joy. It has absorbed your food, fought your illnesses, and held you upright through storms and celebrations. Now, in these later years, it asks for something simpler than ever before. It does not ask for perfection. It asks for respect, for patience, for choices that support rather than sabotage. Imagine each meal as a sacred offering. The food you eat becomes blood, energy, and life. What follows, the moments after eating, is like the silence after a prayer. It is a time to honor the body, to give it peace, and to let it work without disruption. When you choose to wait before smoking, to walk instead of collapse into bed, to sip warm water instead of cold, you are not depriving yourself. You are giving yourself life. Science confirms the risks of these habits, but wisdom confirms the deeper lesson. Health is the fruit of harmony. Harmony between action and timing, between desire and discipline, between what is easy now and what is precious tomorrow. To practice patience in these small ways is to claim ownership of your future, to preserve your strength, your clarity, and your presence for those who love you. So, let us end here, not with fear, but with hope. You do not need to change everything at once. Begin with one choice, delay one habit, offer your body one act of respect. Feel how it responds, with calmer digestion, steadier sleep, and lighter breath. From there, let change grow naturally like a tree that strengthens with each season. The years ahead are not yet written. By choosing wisely in the smallest of moments, you can fill them with vitality, presence, and peace. May each meal remind you not only to nourish the body, but also to care for the life that remains within it, a life still rich with possibility, still worthy of tenderness, and still able to shine.